Hey everybody, Tony Caldwell. I'm going to be your instructor, class facilitator, and in a lot of ways fellow student for the next 10 weeks. I really like teaching this particular course because it's not something I really dug into as a student, and I always seem to pull new things out of what you as students bring to the class, and I'm really enjoying that. So thanks for being here and thanks for participating with it. Thought I would kind of give you a highlights. There's going to be a lot of announcements posted in week one where I try to lay out how I like the course to run. But I want to drop those in here too, and we'll get to that in a minute. I really think of this period in history as kind of a gap year. And I say that based on what a lot of us learned in high school or maybe in our bachelor's program, that American history has always seemed to focus on the war years, the Revolution, a little bit more, 1812, that was kind of forgotten too. A lot on the Civil War. You might think that's all American history was. Then we get to World War I, World War II, then Vietnam, and then Iraq, Afghanistan, and boom, we've covered American history. This is the gap years. This class covers the years between the end of the Revolution, the ratifying of the Constitution. That's in our rearview mirror. We kind of pick up at the War of 1812, and it's a different perspective, so you'll enjoy that. But we finish before we get to the Civil War. And there's a lot of stuff to cover in between there that really led to the formation of the country, especially Jacksonian America, the market revolution. We'll cover all that. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit real quick about the War of 1812 in week one, and we'll take a look at that from a different perspective. So I hope you're excited about the topic materials, at least excited enough that it's more interesting than just I need to plug this class into my schedule to make sure I get my master's. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of announcements coming out in week one, almost one a day, talking about how I like to see the course function. What I'd like to kind of highlight for you real quick is I'm rubric centric, and I say that in an announcement, and it takes about 3 or 4 weeks for it to kind of sink in. But what I mean by that is there's a rubric for almost every assignment this class. The rough draft is the only one that doesn't have one. So what I want all of you to do is take that rubric out, read the narrative on the first couple of pages, understand it, but really look at the back pages, because that's where the scoring takes place. And look at what exemplary calls for, what proficient calls for, and what needs improvement calls for, so you know where you are, and make sure that you're at least doing what the proficient area is. If you have questions, absolutely reach out. I'll be glad to clear those up for you as best I can. But reach out before it's graded, and before it's submitted, not afterwards going, but I think I really did. We're kind of past there at this point. So take a look at that. Also, this term, you're doing a historiographical essay. Most of you took the historiography course. I hope all of you have at this point. That always seems to trip students up. And in week 4 for the topic proposal, I'm going to put in, again, it's going to be a lot of announcements explaining what a historiography is and the difference between that and a research paper. I need you to focus on those announcements. Need you to speak up, raise your hand quickly if you're not understanding the difference, because you don't want to be in week 8 looking at that rough draft going, I don't get it. You won't have time to recover, okay? So think about those things. Also, discussion boards. I love the engagement in the discussion boards. I'll respond to about 30-35% of the students every week. But the cool thing about the discussion board is it's not an analysis paper. You don't have to do 14-15 paragraphs with 32 footnotes, okay? 2, maybe 3 really solid paragraphs about that week's discussion topic. Don't just come in and go, oh, well, we're reading Alan Taylor's book this week, and Alan Taylor was a scholar, and Alan Taylor died. Don't do that. Come in and engage the material and say, I saw something this week I'd never seen. I didn't realize this about the War of 1812. This opens my eyes. And respond to your peers the same way. Nobody likes to get a response to their work that they put effort into that says, oh, nice post, excellent punctuation. Don't do it. Read their post. Come back to them and go, wow, you saw something differently than I saw it. I quoted the same thing or I read the same thing, but I see it this way. Have that level of engagement. That's what I'm looking for to get really going in the discussion boards, okay? Again, m.caldwell@snhu.edu is my email. It's at the bottom of the announcement. It'll be on the bottom of most of my announcements. So reach out if you have questions. Happy to have you on board. Talk to you soon.